Good day, good people. My name is Kabo Sekwele and I am an online math tutor here to help young children turn their struggles into their successes. Today we're going to be talking about independence in children, which is pretty ironic when you think about it. And I will be talking specifically to parents that have children that struggle with independence. I will be sharing ways in which you can help your child develop or improve on their independence. This video will be especially helpful to parents who have kids that are not necessarily independent in their thinking. I'll be showing you how you can help your child develop their brains to a point where they can be independent in their thinking, and that will then later on manifest into their actions. But if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that my primary focus is always on helping children develop their minds first, because it always starts with the mind. Once you improve their mind, you improve their actions, you improve their feelings. So it always results in long-term change and permanent growth for the child when they start with the mind. Now, you're probably wondering why a 22-year-old with no children is giving parents advice on how to raise independent kids. Well, I'm sharing the child's perspective. There are many parents on YouTube telling other parents how to raise their kids. So I want to give you a view into the mind of a child, because I deal with a lot of children and I was a child myself not too long ago. So I want to share with you what helped me gain a level of independence in my thinking and my actions when I was a child, and how you can do the same for your child. I'm basically going to share with you what really resonates with your kids so you know which angle you can come from. Okay, so let's jump into it. Let's talk about how children can develop their independence. It is expected for a child's independence to improve as they grow older, because their way of reasoning also should be improving as they get older. And the truth is, you will only give your child more freedom and independence when you can see that their way of reasoning and their way of thinking, their overall maturity is developing as they grow. Once you can see that they can make the right decisions on their own, you'll feel more free to honor them freedom and see that they are independent. I say this quite often in my videos. Anytime you want to see real change, you need to start with the mindset. Anytime you want to help your child develop in their actions and act differently, you need to start with the way they think about certain matters or about this particular matter. This applies both to children and adults. So you need to start with their mind, because their actions are just a manifestation of how they think. Once you develop how they think, their actions will then change. Children who are dependent most likely lack the ability to reason on their own efficiently and effectively. So they struggle to think for themselves. Hence, my primary goal, and what should be your primary goal, is to help them learn how to think. Many people feel that knowing how to think is an automatic process. It's not. It's something that actually requires training from parents or whoever it is that is raising the child. The child needs to be trained how to do it the right way. So it is your responsibility as a parent to help your child develop their thinking. Fortunately for you, there are tools that you can use to help them develop their thinking. And the first, and probably the most convenient that you can use, is school and education. School's primary objective is to help your child develop their mind and their character. And if it is done correctly, it can have incredible results on both fronts. Note that with school, it shouldn't be just about getting good grades, but it's also more about the person they become in pursuit of those good grades. The mental processes they go through, that's what helps them to develop as people, and that's what helps them to develop their thinking. And just to show you why I say it's not just about getting good grades, even the most intelligent children can struggle with things that they will need in the future, things that develop them as people. Things such as independence, perseverance, managing their time. These are all things that they need, not just for then, but also for the future. And this sometimes happens because parents are okay with their highly intelligent children not studying for tests, not doing their homework, not handing in their assignments in on time, because they're intelligent, right? That's what matters most. No, success runs deeper than that, much deeper than that. Education is not just meant to enhance a child's intelligence and all of that. It's actually meant to help them develop their reasoning. School and education are training for not just the now, but for the future. And not allowing them to go through all those processes actually robs them of the opportunity to grow and develop into productive people. So you can use school and education mostly as a tool to help them develop their thinking and their reasoning by allowing them to think for themselves, especially if they have homework assignments or school assignments, anything that requires their brain to start working. Do not feel the need to help them all the time. Make them figure it out. Make them sit there and figure it out. And if they can't figure it out, make them do the research that they need to do. And then when they're done doing the research, tell them to come and explain to you what they found in their research, just so you make sure that they understand what they learned. The aim here is to actually use education to its fullest. Use school to its fullest. Force them to think for themselves, which will then develop their thinking and will make them able to make better decisions, which will result in more independence. The second way you can help, or the second tool that you can use to help your child learn how to think, is in your day-to-day interactions. When you're teaching your child a new skill, or when you instruct them to do something, focus more on teaching them the principles behind the thing that you want them to learn. Then leave them to figure out the method. You can share your way of doing things, your method of doing things, so they know what standard they need to live up to, but try not to be dogmatic about your method. And make sure they know that they don't have to stick to your method. It's just another way they can do something. And another reason why this is so vital is because once you've given them the principle, then they need to think and figure out, what am I supposed to do here? That develops their way of thinking, that develops their mind, it develops their ability to reason efficiently and helps them to be more independent in their thinking. Many parents are quick to tell children exactly how to do something, especially when they're teaching them something, because it's more convenient. You know, it saves time, it saves energy, it saves just a lot of things. So it's easier to do that. But it actually robs you as a parent of the opportunity to teach them how to think for themselves. Now, let's say you gave them a chance and you don't necessarily like their method. If you feel their way is more inferior, give them a chance to figure it out on their own. Allow them to discover a more efficient way of doing things on their own over time. Again, it gives them a chance to think. It helps them to reason. They then think actively instead of passively. Really, if it doesn't waste your money and no one dies from it, it's not that big of a deal. Normally, when parents hire me to tutor their children start off being very dependent on me to help them with their work, to help them understand the concept, because they're so used to being spoon-fed. They're so used to being told what to do by their teachers, their parents, everyone else. So they don't know how to think for themselves. They don't know how to do things more efficiently on their own. So they depend on me, or they depend on whoever to help them constantly. That's the main reason why they're even struggling with math in the first place, because they're not used to using their own brains. And math is a subject that really trains you to think for yourself if you're given the opportunity to do so, if you're allowed the room and the space to grow. So parents, please give them the room to figure it out on their own, allow them to grow, and they will find a more efficient way of doing things, whether it be around the house, whatever the case is. Give them the principles, give them the time to figure out the method, give them the time to figure out a more efficient method, and in that whole process, their thinking develops and their independence develops as well. Just try to let go of the reins. And in that letting go of the reins, try your best to respect their way of doing things and respect their method, even if you know a more efficient way of doing something. Kids like to feel respected and they like to feel like their opinion makes sense. And you can show them a level of respect without losing your authority. So in this case, just allow them to grow and allow them to figure out their own way of doing things, and over time it will develop. Again, if it doesn't waste your money and no one dies, it's not that big of a deal. Let it go to let them grow. Parents, in conclusion, to raise independent kids, you need to train them and teach them how to think. The most convenient ways to do so would be through school and education, as well as in your day-to-day interactions with them. The last note that I want to share with you, remember that this is a long-term process. Independence will not be embedded in your kid after a week or after 2 weeks, after a month. It will take time. And in their quest for independence, they will make a lot of mistakes, a ton of mistakes. All of that is just a part of the training process. Try to relax and be there for them through it all. Parents, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope it made sense. and I really do appreciate you watching it through. If you are looking for an independent math tutor who can help your child develop their thinking using math as a tool, please feel free to schedule a free consultation with me on my website. I cannot wait to meet you. Thank you so much once again for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!